Show me what you got.
How do you know these things?
You mean I'm right?
Hello, welcome to Steelers Sanctuary. This is Bob Quinn, and it's Tuesday, so I'm doing my mock draft. As you can see up on the screen, I have the PFF mock draft simulator. I also have our QR code if you want to support the podcast and buy some merchandise. We have cups, we have t-shirts, we have hoodies coming soon. Also, please like, share, subscribe to this video, and let's get on with it. So you can see I'm using basically the mock settings here. I've got picking for the Steelers, 7 rounds, turbo, and without further ado, let's go into the draft. Now, I'm not going to do any pre-draft trades, but when I hit start draft, if something looks good, we will take a look. All right, so we have 3 trade offers. So let's take a look at what we got here. Minnesota looks like they're interested in trading with us, and the Raiders and the Seahawks. So let's take a look and see what we could get out of the Vikings if we trade down a little bit. They have the 24th and the 97th. Let's see if we could pick up the 97th pick from them. We'll throw them the 21st pick and see if this goes through as is. Another extra pick in the top 100 certainly wouldn't hurt. Let's take a look. They accepted. So we're going to drop down 3 spots. We're going to resume the draft. So here we go, taking a look at what's available here. I know a lot of people like Matthew Golden. You know, I'd be interested to see what he runs at the combine from that standpoint. But looking at this, Tyleik Williams' defensive line is a need. You know, Jahdae Barron, I do kind of like as a cornerback. Trey Amos and Shavon Revel. Shavon Revel is my favorite corner in this draft as of right now. But just to mix it up a little bit, Shavon Revel is coming off of an ACL, which is, to me, the only reason he would be this low in the draft. I know it's a little bit of a reach. Trey Amos is a little bit safer pick. He may not have the upside of Revel, but he does have a pretty high floor. He's a bigger guy. He's 6'1", 190, not quite as big as Revel. So I'm going to go for this draft. I'm going to pick Trey Amos and go with the SEC quarterback and play it a little safe. All right, so let's see what happens in the draft. And now we're picking in the second round. This is pick number 53. It's no secret the Steelers need wide receiver help. They need defensive line help. A little early to take a running back here. I like Savion Williams. I don't know that I love him. But based on the value here, I think we gotta pick him. And you know, he's 6'5", 225. He's a big guy. We need a big, reliable receiver. Let's take a shot and pick Savion. I know a lot of people have been mocking Savion to us in the second round here. All right, so now we're coming into the third round. Isaiah Bond just went. I know I've seen people picking him in the first round. Granted, he might be as fast as Xavier Worthy, but he did not have the year or the talent that Worthy did. If we could have gotten him here, if he was available, I probably would have picked him. But taking a look at who's available, I don't like Pac-10 players. The Steelers typically don't like Pac-10 players. We hadn't picked a Pac-10 player since Juju, and we took Fatanu in the first round. Fat lot of good that did us. Although I still think he'll probably be a pretty good player here. So looking at what's available, I love Trey Harris as a vertical threat. But Quinshon Judkins, third round. Yeah, I think there might be some backs in the fourth. But Quinshon Judkins has a chance to be really good in a tandem and as the 60-40 back with Jaylen Warren. So I'm going to pick Quinshon Judkins here. And let's see how it works out for us since we have another pick, thanks to our trade with Minnesota. All right, so Will Howard is sitting here. And do we need a quarterback? Yes. But we also need help at other positions. I kind of think safety is a low key need for us. But that being said, based on what's available here, Isaiah Isaac Sayamalu is going into the last year of his contract. Like Urasek too. I think getting an actual real type receiving tight end to go with Darnell and Pat, he's kind of a hybrid of both. I'm gonna take the Georgia tight end here because this way we can wave goodbye to McCole Pruitt and the experiment that was the smallest tight end in 50 years, Cameron Hayward. So give me Ben Urasaric here. And I think we have a solid third tight end with tight end 2 upside when we have Pat on the roster. Okay, so now getting into it here, we're down to pick 121. Still haven't gotten any defensive line help, but this isn't really presenting it to us. Kind of Damian Martinez here probably would have been a nice get. Torrey Horton is an intriguing prospect. You got Quinn Ewers, the quarterback here as well. Trevor Etienne, Kobe King, Kyle McCord. I'm going to roll the dice that some of these quarterbacks are going to be around, and I'm going to pick a second position of need here, and I'm going to get Torrey Horton from Colorado State. So let's see if our gamble paid off here when we get to pick 163. Looks like we have our choice here of who we want as far as quarterbacks go. We got Quinn Ewers, Kyle McCord. You know, Ewers had kind of first round upside early in the year, but it's kind of changed here in the last few months. So I'm going to go with Kyle McCord here. I think from a pocket standpoint, in the 5th round, I think we could do a lot worse. Maybe Will Howard in the 4th would have been a better way to go, but for this draft, and now we're down here in the 7th round, and Jackson Dart's still around. A lot of these guys are still around. Here's a guy I kind of love, not just for his name, Tonka Hemingway. I think he's a nice get late in the draft. If better defensive linemen had presented earlier in the draft, I probably would have gone D-line a little bit earlier. But I do like Tonka Hemingway. I think he's a solid, 7th round depth kind of piece. And I'd kind of like to see us from a defensive line standpoint, maybe look more towards free agency. I'm not opposed to getting one of those guys in the 2nd and 3rd as long as it's one of the top guys. But Tonka Hemingway in this round, to me, is a nice get. So we've got our final pick on the board. I'm going to go back to another guy I like who has high upside, Eric Gregory from Arkansas here for the defensive line. He came in as an edge rusher. He kind of migrated to defensive tackle during his career. I really like the kid. I think he's a good player. So looking at this, PFF kind of dinged me for drafting Quinshon Judkins over Dylan Gabriel. Again, some Pac-10, Pac-12, whatever the heck they're called, Pac-2 really, they're called these days. Yeah, I know there's good players in the league. I can't remember a good, Troy is the only good Pac-10, Pac-12 player I ever remember with the Steelers. I mean, I guess you could call Juju good depending on how you feel. So looking at our grades, they gave us a B for picking Trey Amos. Yeah, he's projected at 31, but I see corner as our biggest need. I think if we can put a solid player next to Joey long term, it will really help the defense. Savion Williams, we got an A. 6'5", 225, really nice player out of TCU. We'll see how he does at the combine. I kind of like Jaden Higgins too, but he wasn't there for us. Quinshon Judkins, only got to see. You take a running back in the 3rd round, you do get dinged a little bit. But that being said, I do like Quinshon Judkins. Ben Urasaric, 3rd round, end of the third round, picking him up, B-. That's a nice, to me, that Pat Darnell Washington, I feel like we'd be set at that position for a while. And again, I think getting another receiving tight end because of the way Arthur Smith, who is going to be back, whether we like it or not, is going to be back, the way he runs his offense, having two real receiving threats at the tight end position can only help us. Torrey Horton, B plus. A lot of upside on that kid. I like him a lot. That being said, if I could get a receiver in 2 and 3 who I really liked, I might go that route. Kyle McCord, I'm getting an A plus because I'm getting him in the 5th round. Look, the guy set the ACC record for passing yards. He's a big, strong pocket guy. You could do worse. Think Mason with, to me, a little bit higher upside. That doesn't mean I think he should be our starting quarterback long term. But, at this point, we re-sign Justin Fields, knock on wood, hopefully, and we bring this kid Kyle McCord in. Have a little bit of a competition. If it doesn't work out, maybe we go to McCord. If worst case scenario, if we don't hit on either one and, next year we're picking high in the draft. Best case scenario, Justin Fields is good, not great. Kyle McCord comes in and shows he can handle the job long term. Hey, you got a starting quarterback long term. You look at a guy like Brock Purdy in the 7th round. No, he doesn't set the world on fire. But if you told me we were going to get a guy in the 5th, 6th, 7th round who could be our long-term starter and play good, solid football, if we could put a roster around him, hey, there's worse things that could happen to the Steelers. That being said, we all know how we feel about the coaching staff and how it's going. So maybe with the new coaching staff having him there, maybe we can make something out of him. 2 defensive linemen got our C pluses in the 7th round. Hey, you get what you get if you wait this long for the 7th round. I do like Tonka a lot. I think he's a guy who could not only make the team, I think he could be quality depth in the first season and a guy we could maybe long-term turn into, a solid 3-4 defensive tackle kind of guy who, maybe like it's high praise to say this name, but maybe turn into a Brett Kiesel type long-term. Eric Gregory, you're just kind of taking a shot here at a guy who was a highly thought of, highly recruited edge rusher who maybe didn't get the best coaching at Arkansas and kind of moved inside. That's a guy maybe you develop and something happens long term. If not, 249th pick in the draft. If you don't make the team, you don't make the team. It is what it is. So those are my picks. Let me know what you guys think. Comment, like, share, subscribe. Hit me up on my Twitter feed. You can see see where it is. I'll publish this on Twitter as well. Until next time.
That's all, folks.